Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Patim Vyasam Tato Jayamudire Nashtapat Bhagavati Uttam Tera Bhavati Nashtiki. So continuing with our discussion of glories of Lord Nityananda. So yesterday we discussed one very important pastime of Lord Nityananda when he delivered Jagai and Madhai, when he bestowed his mercy upon Jagai and Madhai. So there were many, many wonderful pastimes that Lord Nityananda performed. Like devotees did post a couple of those pastimes on the forum. And when Lord Chaitanya wanted to take sannyas, so his idea was that he wanted to take sannyas because people respect sannyasis, so he can spread the holy name Sankirtan all over without any hindrance, without anybody stopping him. So he wanted to take sannyas. So with this we had discussed on Makar Sankranti day. That was the day when he went and took sannyas. So he went to Katwa and got his hair shaved up and he got this sannyas mantra. So after sannyas, he could not come home. So he wanted to go to Vrindavan. So alone he started walking from Katwa, which is in Navadvip, to Vrindavan. Nityanand Prabhu understood his heart and his mood. So Nityanand Prabhu went ahead of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And then he saw some cowherd boys playing on the way. So Nityanand Prabhu told these cowherd boys that there's a very tall, very beautiful sannyasi coming on this way. And when he asks you which way to Vrindavan, just point him towards Navadvip, and he'll ask you which way is where is Yamuna, and just send him to Ganges. So, and Nityanand Prabhu went further, and he sent a messenger to Shantipur, to Advaitacharya, that please come on the boat. And then he went further. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he came to those boys, as Nityanand Prabhu had predicted, he asked him, which way is Vrindavan? So boys pointed towards Navadvip. And he asked, which way is Yamuna? And boys again said, okay, that way is Yamuna. They were pointing towards Ganga. So Mahaprabhu was in ecstasy and he was chanting and dancing, and he came and he saw the river and he thought it was Yamuna, and he jumped into it and started bathing. And he was in ecstasy, thinking he was at Vrindavan. So then he saw Advaitacharya coming on a boat. And he said, Advaitacharya, when did you come to Vrindavan? Advaitacharya said, you are in Shantipur, you are not in Vrindavan. And this is not Yamuna, this is Ganges. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, oh, there's Nityanand. He cheated me. But actually, Advaitacharya said, he did not cheat you. Wherever you are, that is Vrindavan. And actually, at Sangam in Prayag, Ganga and Yamuna, they merge together, or Yamuna merges into Ganga, and then Ganga flows all the way down to ocean. So it is said when the Ganga flows like that, the western bank of Ganga is Yamuna, and the eastern bank of Ganga is Ganga. So Mahaprabhu actually bathed in the western bank of that river, Ganga. So he was actually bathing in Yamuna. So technically also he was correct. So, but anyway, Nityanand Prabhu had arranged all this. So Advaitacharya brought Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to his house. And then he stayed there for 10 days. Nityanand Prabhu arranged Shachi Mata to come there to Advaitacharya's house. And she cooked for Mahaprabhu for 10 days. And not just Mahaprabhu, she cooked for everybody, all the devotees, hundreds of devotees present over there. And they all relished the wonderful cooking of Shachi Mata. And finally, Shachi Mata told Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, you should not go to Vrindavan, go to Jagannath Puri. Because devotees from now they go keep on going to Jagannath Puri, and I'll get you news all the time. And Jagannath Puri and Navadvip are like two rooms in the same house. So you should go and reside there. So Mahaprabhu accepted. And Mahaprabhu started going to Jagannath Puri. And Nityanand Prabhu and other few other devotees, they accompanied Mahaprabhu. And Mahaprabhu's direction to everybody who was going with him was, you're not going to carry any money. Because as a sannyasi, he said, I cannot carry any money with me. And neither are you if you're going to come with me. And everybody was, well, on the way, there's so many, and they were walking. It wasn't like they can catch a taxi or a train or something. They were walking, but there were so many toll booths on the way. They were, because different kingdoms they had to cross to get to Jagannath Puri. And every king had his own toll booth on the road. Where Mahaprabhu went ahead, and every toll booth officer in charge, he would look at Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, look at his beauty, look at the way he's dancing and chanting. He would say, okay, you go. There's no need for you to pay the toll. And then Mahaprabhu would say, oh, I have some associates with me. There are 3 or 4 of them. And we're not carrying any money. So he would let them also. So they all were getting lots of sukriti by doing all this service for Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So walking, they all came to Bhubaneswar, and then from Bhubaneswar they started going to Jagannath Puri. On the way, there was a river, and Mahaprabhu stopped there. It was right outskirts of Jagannath Puri. Mahaprabhu stopped there and he told Nityanand Prabhu that I'm gonna go take bath in the river, and here you hold on to my danda. The danda is the sannyas danda. Every sannyasi, person who takes sannyas, he gets this danda to carry. Now Mahaprabhu took sannyas in Shankaracharya Mutt. So in Shankara, they carry one danda. So one danda means we are one with God. But in Vaishnava Sampradaya, actually they do carry one danda, but that one danda is combination of 3 small bamboo sticks or 3 thin bamboo sticks. So that means that sannyasi, one who takes sannyas, he takes a vow that I will serve the Lord with my body, mind, and words. So that's 3 sticks represent that. And on top of that, there's like half moon kind of wooden piece attached that represents soul. That body, mind, word, and the soul also. I'll surrender and I engage it in service of Krishna only. That's it. But Mahaprabhu was carrying that Mayavadi sect sannyas representative with a symbol which was one danda. So when Mahaprabhu went to take bath in the river and he gave the danda to Nityanand Prabhu thought, my master, Gaurang Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he is the Supreme Lord. He does not need to carry this danda as a symbol of sannyas. He is the Supreme Lord himself. Why he needs to carry this danda? So he broke the danda in 3 pieces and threw it in the river. When Mahaprabhu came out and he said, okay, let's go to Jagannath Puri, they started walking. And on the way, Mahaprabhu said, Nityanand Prabhu, I gave you that danda. Where is my danda? Sannyas danda. Nityanand Prabhu was like, no, how am I going to tell him that I broke it and threw it in the river? And he said, oh, actually what happened, you were in ecstasy, you were dancing and chanting and dancing like that. You fell on the danda and danda broke into 3 pieces. And then I thought, what's the use of this danda? And I threw it away. Mahaprabhu got. Externally, obviously. Internally, he was very pleased. So externally, he got angry with Nityananda. Why did you break my danda? You know that's the only possession of a sannyasi. He doesn't carry anything except the danda and the kamandal. You broke it and you threw it away. And you have really defamed me, and I cannot go with you all. So either you guys go to Jagannath Puri first, or I'll go first. Actually, Acharyas have explained the real reason Nityanand Prabhu broke that danda is he said this is not the suitable danda for a Vaishnava sannyasi. And he broke it in three pieces, signifying actually Mahaprabhu should be carrying a three danda staff. And that river is till today it's called Danda Bhanga River, where Nityanand Prabhu performed this pastime. And Krishna's mercy, ISKCON has a beautiful temple over there at that location. And then Mahaprabhu went to Jagannath Puri first, and again, different pastimes. So Nityanand Prabhu and other devotees, Mukunda and other devotees, they went later. So they stayed in Jagannath Puri for a while. And then Mahaprabhu, one day, he ordered Nityanand Prabhu that you should go back to Navadvip. And Mahaprabhu said, I have taken sannyas for propagating the holy name, but you should get married and preach. Because for a sannyasi, there are some restrictions where they can go, where they cannot go. But for householders, those restrictions are not there. So he told Nityanand Prabhu, you should get married. So Nityanand Prabhu and few other devotees, Abhiram Thakur and other devotees were associates of Nityanand Prabhu. Because they are, like in Krishna Leela, there are some friends who are friends of Krishna and there are friends who are friends of Balaram. So same devotees, they became associates of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu or Nityanand Prabhu. So Nityanand Prabhu, along with this group of devotees, he started walking back towards Navadvip from Jagannath Puri. And of course, Nityanand Prabhu, when his walking is like dancing. And when he is talking, his talking is like singing. And he was dancing and singing the holy name of the Lord, and holy name of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and all the devotees were dancing, they were walking. There was one place, associate Abhiram, and one place he got into so much of ecstasy while chanting and dancing that he stood still at that place for 9 hours without moving. He was in so 9 chanting around him. And after 9 hours, they started moving. But moving, it was all dancing and chanting. While dancing like that, they asked somebody, okay, which way to Navadvip? We want to go to Bengal. And that person said, Navadvip, you're 20 miles away from that road that goes to Navadvip. And they all laughed and they started dancing, chanting, and the way this guy pointed, they started going that way. And then after walking for so many hours, they asked somebody, which way is to Navadvip? Which way to go to Bengal? And they said, Bengal, this is like 10 hours that way. Which way you're going? So somehow or other, dancing, chanting, they came to, first they came to Kolkata. And near Kolkata, there is a place where Raghav Pandit used to live, and that's a Panihati village. So first, Nityanand Prabhu with his associates, he came to Raghav Pandit's house, and Raghav Pandit made elaborate arrangements for welcome of Nityanand Prabhu and prasadam for everybody. And Nityanand Prabhu stayed there, and he started again kirtan. That's all he did. And he was leading the kirtan, he was doing the kirtan, and all the devotees were joining. All the villagers joined. From all the villages, all the boys, little boys, they also joined the kirtan. And Nityanand Prabhu, he would just cast his glance on somebody, and the person would become ecstatic about it with love of Krishna, and he would dance and chant enthusiastically. And it was said that devotees would just run up on the trees. They would just climb the trees, and they were dancing on the branches of the trees. And from the branches, they were dancing on the twigs of the trees, and nobody was falling down. And everybody was dancing and chanting. And they got into so much of ecstasy. One little boy, he would wrap his arms around a tree, and in ecstasy, he just pulled the tree out. And everybody was surprised. This little boy, how much he got? How did he got this so much of strength? But nobody was aware of what they were doing. They were not in their body. And that kirtan went on for 3 months. 3 months of kirtan. Nobody ate anything, nobody slept, nobody sat down. Everybody was just dancing and chanting. And while the kirtan was going on, Nityanand Prabhu asked Radha Pandit that I have a desire to have the garland of kadamba flowers. Go get me kadamba flowers. And Raga Pandit said, my dear Lord, kadamba flowers don't grow in Bengal, they grow in Vrindavan. And moreover, this is not even the season of kadamba flowers. Nityanand Prabhu said, no, I have a strong desire. You just go look outside. Maybe there are some kadamba flowers. So Raghav Pandit went out in his courtyard and he saw a tree full of fully bloomed kadamba flowers. And that was a lemon tree actually, not even kadamba tree. So, so he just picked up all the kadamba flowers and he made a nice garland for Nityanand Prabhu. And he knew Nityanand Prabhu can do anything. And then while the kirtan was going on and everybody, all of a sudden they smelled beautiful fragrance of Damanaka flowers. And they were looking at each other. Damanaka flowers don't grow in Bengal. They grow in Odisha. How come Damanaka flowers are here? We can smell beautiful fragrance. And then Nityananda Prabhu said, actually Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has just arrived. And he's very happy looking at you, the dancing and the kirtan. And he also took part in dancing in the kirtan. And he was wearing a garland of Damanaka flowers. So this was the mercy of Nityanand Prabhu. And now Nityanand Prabhu, because it was the order of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that he should get married, so the devotees arranged for his marriage. And there was a devotee named Suryakant Sarakhel, and he had two daughters, Janma and Vasudha. So Nityanand Prabhu went and he decided to marry Janma. So while on the day of marriage, the marriage ceremony took place, and after the marriage, Vasudha, the younger sister, she was serving all the devotees prasadam, along with other hosts they were serving, and she personally was serving Nityanand Prabhu. And while serving, like in Bengal or in India, Vedic culture, they cover their head with the sari, end of the sari, while serving. And while she was serving with two hands, one hand was holding the bucket, with one hand she was putting some stuff in Nityanand Prabhu's plate, and somehow her sari from her head, it came down. So immediately, two extra hands appeared from her body and they put the sari back on the head. And everybody was surprised to what is this going on. And then Nityanand Prabhu, after the food, prasadam was finished, they were going to go leave. Nityanand Prabhu was going to leave with the Mother Janva to his house. And Suryakant Varkhel said, okay, we have to give you some gift, so what do you want? Nityanand Prabhu said, give me your other daughter also. So Vasudha. So he married both the sisters. Actually, these sisters are, Vasudha is Varuni and Majanva is Mother Revati from Balramji's pastimes. So they are eternal wives of Balramji. And here Nityanand Prabhu was also going to marry both of them. So they all came back to where he was living. And then now devotees had a desire to give lots of jewelry to Nityanand Prabhu, and because Mahaprabhu had taken sannyas, so he would not wear jewelry. So he devotees to please them. So once he was participating in nice chanting and dancing kirtan in one of devotees' house where Nityanand Prabhu was staying for a while. And there was a gang of dacoits in that village. And that the leader of that gang was he was a Brahmin, but in bad association he became a dacoit. So this gang of dacoits, when they saw the beautiful jewelry that Nityanand Prabhu would wear, and they said, okay, we have to kill him and get all his jewelry. All he does is dance and chant, so we'll find a nice time. So evening time, Nityanand Prabhu started dancing and chanting in this house of this Vaishnav, and this gang of dacoits, they just hid outside, and they were waiting for the right moment. Okay, when the kirtan will stop and they all will go to sleep, then we will attack and loot the whole jewelry. And they were all planning, all the decor. One was saying, oh, I will take the ring, I'll take the beautiful ring that he is wearing, I'll take the necklace, or I'll take the kundals, I'll take the ankle belts and this and that. They were planning. So while talking, they were listening to the kirtan, and they were waiting till the kirtan is over. And while talking, they all went to sleep under the trees. And when they got up, it was daytime, and villagers started walking around, and somehow they hid their weapons, and they just ran from that place. And then when they came back to their house, they said, "What happened? We never sleep like this. It had never happened before." And they were blaming each other. Oh, you fell asleep first. No, you fell asleep first. You were supposed to keep everybody awake. So everybody was fighting. Then the leader said, no. Actually, I know what happened. I think Kali wasn't happy with us because we didn't pray to her properly before we took up this project. So we'll pray to her, and again we'll find a good day when to go and loot Lord Nityananda. So they prayed to Kali, and again 2-3 days later, again they had made the plan. Nityanand Prabhu was still at the same devotee's house, and he was performing his kirtan, chanting, dancing. So all these dacoits again went back to the house, and in the middle of the night, they were going to attack that house. They were going to attack, and then they saw these huge, gigantic soldiers carrying swords and spears in their hands, and they were walking back and forth, protecting the house. They were all walking around and saying, Haribol, Haribol. And these dacoits got so scared. Every soldier was huge enough to kill these dacoits barehanded. And they said, where did these guys come from? We've never seen them in this village before. Then they discuss, oh, maybe some king is visiting, and these are king's soldiers. Anyway, we'll come back again after a few days. How long the king will stay here? So they came back. So after a few days, again, they had the plan. So again, Nityanand Prabhu was still in that house and chanting and dancing. So they, at the middle of the night, they started walking towards that house. And when these dacoits came close to the house, all of a sudden, every single dacoit, they went blind. They just couldn't see anything in front of them. They went blind. And one dacoit fell in the ditch, and he was bitten by all the insects and mosquitoes. And one dacoit fell in the garbage pit, and he was bitten by scorpions. And The leeches were biting and sucking blood out of him. And one dacoit fell in a pit with lots of thorns, and the thorns were tearing him apart. And all the dacoits, they were in miserable condition. Everybody fell down and they were crying. And then Indradev, he saw how in the world they tried to rob Lord Nityananda. So he started throwing rain, and hard rain, and it was falling only on these dacoits. Rain, it was cold, it became cold, it was windy, and it was raining, and these dacoits, they couldn't see anything, and they were miserable. I mean, the thorns were pricking them, and the insects, and everybody was biting them. And then slowly the rain became hailstorm, like we had the hailstorm in Delhi, Noida. Just imagine the hailstorm, and every hail was the size of a small ball, and it was just hitting on these dacoits big time. And while it was hitting, all these guys were so miserable. The leader, he he in his mind only, he said, I made a mistake. This Nityanand is not an ordinary person. He must be the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and I take shelter of him. Please forgive me. That's all he said. And immediately the rain stopped, hailstorm stopped, the winds stopped, the weather became nice, all the thorns came out, all the eyesight was again given back. And they came back to their place of hiding. And next morning, this dacoit leader, he went to Lord Nityananda and he begged for forgiveness, and he said, robbed shelter of you. All the villagers were surprised because they knew this dacoit was very notorious. And he's taking shelter of Lord Nityananda. And he took, and Lord Nityananda forgave him. He said, don't worry, all your sins I'm taking. Now you don't commit any more sins. You chant the holy names of Krishna and preach. So this dacoit, because he was the most powerful dacoit, he gathered all his ex-dacoits buddies and he preached to all of them, and everybody became a Vaishnava. And this is the mercy of Lord Nityananda. He doesn't care for what was the background, how many sins we have committed, or with what mood these guys had approached him. He's ready to forgive them. He's ready to give them the mercy. He's ready to give everybody his mercy. So it is said in one of the bhajans that the only price that we need to pay to get Lord Nityananda's mercy is to have little faith. That's all. Shraddhavan Janare. Little faith if we have in Mahaprabhu, in the holy name, Lord Nityananda is ready to give us mercy by which we can get the mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And that faith we develop in the association of devotees. So in the association and by reading Prabhupada's books, by associating, by serving together, by chanting, we develop that little faith, and then Lord Nityananda Prabhu is ready to give us mercy. So much of mercy. Yesterday we heard the story of Jagai Madai, today this dacoit leader, and there's so many more pastimes where he gives mercy to every fallen person. And by his mercy, then they get the mercy of Mahaprabhu, and then they get the mercy of Radha and Krishna. So yesterday was a wonderful day. In fact, today in India, here on Tuesday, it's Krishna Madhur Leela, Ras Leela, another Ras Leela, or Madhur Utsav is there. So please read about that. And so we get mercy of Nityanand Prabhu and we get mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that is going to come. Gaur Purnima is about to come. And then we can celebrate Krishna's Madhur Utsav also. So that's the beauty of ISKCON or Vaishnava or devotion, that we get to celebrate every day. Every day there is something or festival going on. So this is the beauty. And so we are very fortunate that by Prabhupada's mercy, we get to hear about all these wonderful pastimes, and we can meditate on these pastimes, we can beg for mercy of Lord Nityananda, and we can make progress. Hare Krishna. Thank you all very much. Jai Srila Prabhupada. Any questions or comments?
Thank you very much, Prabhuji, for such a wonderful
Thank you,
pastime.
Prabhu. Thank you,
All
Prabhu. All goes to Srila Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. आज तो weekend नहीं है.
I saw it's a very just came to take your darshan, nothing else.
Hare Bol, Hare Bol. Chalo, you all have a wonderful day. Hare Krishna. Jai Srila
Hare
Prabhupada.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji. Jai